Good evening, everyone. Zach with Zach's Weather Shack here. And, well, winter just doesn't want to seem to quit, does it? I mean, we had a pretty mild and warm February, but March has just spawned storm after storm, and it has not been warm. So, as you can see here, we have another chance at snow, March 22nd and March 21st. We'll take a look at it. There's three different scenarios. And interestingly enough, and not surprisingly, each model has their own scenario. I mentioned the models have not been good at all this year. They've been terrible in the mid-range and long range. So, as I said, we won't truly know the track of this storm and the impacts until we're about 72 hours or 48 hours away from the event. But we'll go ahead and take a look at these possibilities here. We'll start with the GFS model, which has from 90 hours from now. This is Tuesday on March 20th. It has a low placed over Kentucky and Illinois. And what the GFS solution projects is that this low will split into two and develop another piece of energy down here. And you'll see that in my next picture here. Here's the split. You have one low here and one low here. And actually this one is going to move north and allow this to move up the coast and feed off some high pressure up here. You'll see in the next picture. And it projects some snow for the East Coast, for the Mid-Atlantic area. You see it'll feed off this cold air from up here. Here's the low. And this is one solution. This is the GFS solution. So we'll go ahead and show you the European solution now. It has a bit of a different track. As you can see, about 78 to 90 hours from now, it has a low just about the same place. But the difference is it's already split. So what's going to happen is these are actually going to combine and take more of a southern track and slide off the coast. It isn't going to come up the coast like the GFS solution. And what that would mean is, I could show you in the next picture, is that here's where the low placement would be. It would not impact Maryland as much as a GFS solution. You see this high pressure suppressing it to the south, and there isn't any precipitation here, not enough moisture for a significant snowstorm. If we take a look at the Canadian output, which has been a good model this year, this has actually been, I think, more accurate than the GFS and the European, for what that's worth. It's still been pretty bad, but it's been a little bit more consistent. So as you can see, it has somewhat of a split already, and like the European, it's kind of going to be in between the European and the GFS solution. So what it's going to want to do is have a low pressure. I mean, that's right where you want it for an East Coast snowstorm, and another low pressure right here, which will mainly affect, the Ohio Valley, the Shenandoah Valley, not really the Mid-Atlantic so much, but this low pressure, this is bombing out right here. As you can see, plenty of moisture, and here's our high pressure for cold air. And if you take the Canadian output verbatim, I don't give this a huge likelihood, but you never know, it's still a possibility. You could see a foot of snow for Anne Arundel County. Now, like I said, that isn't likely. It's a very, very slight possibility. I give it maybe 5%. And since we're at the end of March, the sun angle right now is really going to take a really big effect on accumulations. And what I mean by that is, yes, you may see a foot of snow on cold surfaces, but the roads, due to the sun angle and the blacktop absorbing the sunlight, you're maybe only going to get 1 to 3 inches on the roads, maybe 3 to 6, but it really takes a toll on the accumulations. As far as the European output, which is more of a realistic solution, it shows 1 to 3 inches for Anne Arundel County. Like I said, this is more of a southern track and not really enough moisture to give us a significant snowstorm. So I give that maybe a 50-50 chance. And if we take a look at the GFS output, it's a 3 to 6 inch range for Anne Arundel County. Now, one of the questions I received was how much snow is possible. And I would say the Canadian is really as much as I think we're going to get. as far as possibilities. Foot of snow, I can't see any more than that. I mean, it's the end of March. This storm is going to have a really, really difficult time finding a source of cold air because our average highs right now are already in the mid to high 40s, so it needs to be 15 degrees colder than normal for us to have snowfall. But as I said earlier, there's three different solutions right now. There isn't any consistency. They're really all over the place. So until we're 72 hours or 48 hours away from this event, we're not truly going to know how it's going to impact us. I just thought I'd share the possibilities. Usually when you're this far away from an event, it's useful to look at the ensembles. And even the GFS ensembles are all over the place. You can see there isn't any consensus at all right now with this storm with the GFS. Now, the European is a little bit different. It's a little bit more interesting, and there is more of a consensus here. And if a low were to be placed right here, then that is a significant East Coast snowstorm for central Maryland. You would see if a low were placed here, it would have a nice high-pressure cold air source up there. You could see anywhere from 6 to 12 inches. So we'll have to monitor the consistency of the ensembles for now, and we'll see where it goes. This is Zach's Weather Shack. As I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll answer any, and I'll have more updates for you later. Have a good night, everyone.